Hi, welcome to Brooklane's Facebook Live program. Today's topic is handling holiday stress while caregiving. We're glad that you've joined us. And if you have any questions today during the program, we would ask that you please put them in the chat feature and I will be happy to relay them to our presenter. Today's program is the last program in this caregiving series that is sponsored by Brooklane and Potomac Case Management Services. We're glad you're here and that you've joined us. Our presenter today is Robin Morris. Robin is a therapist at Brooklane's North Village outpatient location. She is a licensed certified social worker clinical, and she also has additional education as a certified clinical trauma professional. She works with clients of a variety of ages, from adolescents to adults, and with a variety of different mental health issues and problems. Robin, we are glad that you are with us today and certainly appreciate your sharing with us. And we will get started here and turn things over to you, and I will bring the PowerPoint up in just a moment or two. It's all yours, Robin.
Okay, good afternoon, Kurt. Good afternoon to all the listeners today and those watching. First and foremost, I'd like to give many accolades to those of you who are currently or have ever been caregivers. The caregiving role can be fulfilling and energizing. It often gives the opportunity, which people don't really take into consideration, the opportunity for us to deepen and strengthen relationships with our family members and friends due to the amount of time we spend together. We get to share stories and secrets that would have never been shared during those caregiving, moments and times. Caregiving is also very overwhelming, and it can and will manifest itself by way of fatigue, stress, and oftentimes burnout. Caregivers often struggle with anticipatory grief. While performing those day-to-day tasks of providing comfort, there are often feelings of dread and gloom based on whatever the illness that our loved one has. There's that projection of an upcoming loss that puts sort of like a shadow or a sense of dread over the entire caregiving experience. Too much stress can often lead us to what we call caregiver burnout. Sleeping issues, increased drinking, eating, and smoking, for example, are symptoms, if you will. Cutting back on your own leisure activities and overreacting to minor nuisances are just a few indicators that actual burnout is beginning. Next slide. The holidays are an extremely stressful time of year, and the American Psychological Association study about holiday stress revealed several top stressors, which include lack of time with too much to do, over commercialization, trying to live up to the TV expectations and the media expectations and the movie expectations that we see day to day. Family gatherings and family dynamics also lead to our stress, sadness, loneliness, and loss. Again, anticipatory grief comes into play here. Money worries, gift-giving pressures, holiday travel, trying to figure out just how to get that loved one from here to there, or who can spend time with that loved one while we try ourselves to get from here to there. Next slide. So how do we prepare for the stress of the holidays? One thing that's absolutely necessary is that we recognize that stress accompanies most holiday seasons. Setting reasonable expectations for ourselves, what and how much we can physically possibly do is what we should consider doing and no more. We need to simplify and scale down on holiday activities, unless, of course, you're one of those who feels like the more activity you're involved in, the better off you feel. You have to get yourself a priority list of things that you're going to do and try your best to stick to it. Most important things for you, the caregiver, are what should be first and at the top of your list. You should adapt activities to fit the care dynamics and limitations, etc. In other words, if your loved one or the individual that you're caring for is immobile or very, very hard to ambulate, you really should consider bringing activities in rather than trying to do things outside of your home. Seek some help with holiday activities. There are organizations throughout the community that offer volunteer services, and perhaps, for instance, the Commission on Aging, the United Cancer Association, things like that, will offer you some volunteer hours. I feel the most important thing of all is that you incorporate self-care during the stressful holiday. Take time for a hot bath, take time to put your feet up, take a little time to listen to your favorite music, or simply sit in the quiet. Next slide. The Alzheimer's Disease Caregiver Support Initiative identified 7 strategies to help avoid caregiver burnout. First things first, journaling daily is found to have positive effects on emotional and mental health well-being. As a therapist, journaling is the #1 homework assignment given to each of my clients, ranging in age from kindergarten to senior years. Number 2, you must allow yourself to feel negative emotion. Not every day or even most days of caregiving will be calm. A suggestion I have is to, as you journal, write down, for example, today was a blank day because blank. Be candid, be honest. Next thing, I survived today by blank. If you're writing about it, you survived it. And you need to recognize that you have strengths to get you through. Number 3, third strategy, know your limits. You can't possibly do it all perfectly every day. Next slide. 4, look for patterns. Identify things you do in your caregiving role that induce stress, anxiety, and depression. If you can see a trigger, you can confront a trigger. If you can confront a trigger, you can manage your reaction to it. Read, read, read. There are many great books on caregiving. For example, The Caregiver's Journey, Building Your Care Team, A First-Time Caregiver's Plan, When Someone You Love Has Dementia, Cancer, or any other life-threatening disease. Next slide. Number 6 of the strategies to help avoid burnout is to take advantage of respite care. Consider hiring a trained professional to take over caregiving duties for a temporary period of time, for me time, which will help you recharge your batteries. Seek out agencies within your community that may be able to provide or recommend respite care. In some instances, your loved one can be transported to a nearby nursing home or assisted living facility for a number of days, allowing you to spend time away from home. Number 7, equally as important, is to consider joining a caregiver support group. Nothing like being able to communicate with others who are in the same boat, if you will, as you are. They know the challenges. They have some solutions. They may be able to offer you other resources. You won't feel as if you're in it alone. Next slide. When we think about ways of actually combating holiday stress, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, one of the things that is most important is to work towards simplifying holiday activities. Next slide. Sit down, take time, take inventory of what is really important with regard to the particular holiday you are trying to celebrate. Don't try to do everything. Everyone important to you already knows you are in the caregiver role. Whatever is reasonable for you to manage, you manage. What you are unable to manage, let it go. Scale down on decorations, Christmas cards, Kwanzaa cards, and party expectations. Prioritize and minimize holiday activities. Participate in ones that hold the deepest meaning for you. And if it is an expectation of family that you host an activity, make them aware of your need to scale down. Find practical ways to include your loved ones in festivities. Next slide. Plan meals ahead with ease of mind. Simplify menus and offer fewer choices. Take advantage of online grocery ordering and delivery services. Plan your meals, shop early. Have other family members contribute to the menu. Do a host or communicate with your family and closer relatives, and have each member pick an item out of a hat that they contribute to the Christmas dinner, to the New Year's Eve celebration. And if all else fails and money is and you have the available funds, consider having all or part of the meal catered by a local restaurant or grocery store. I think each caregiver out there should take one evening during the holiday season to eat out with that special someone, with your own family members, your own small group. Take a night and eat out. Next slide. I think the most important thing with regards to managing stress of any kind, but specifically caregiver stress, is practicing self-care. We all need to get out and get fresh air. You caregivers, you must do something uplifting just for you. Go get your nails done, get your hair done, go buy yourself a new outfit. Give yourself until a certain time in the day to complete tasks, then call it quits. If 7 o'clock is your minimum maximum, 7 o'clock it is. 7 o'clock, it's your time. Again, listen to music, practice mindfulness, curl up with a good book. Concentrate on the meaning of the holiday and not the expectations of others. Guard against the holiday blues. If the holidays are a reminder of someone who has passed, who has transitioned, or of loved ones who aren't able to do some things they used to do, start new traditions that focus on what can be done now. Anticipate family stress, anticipate family being uncooperative. You might be able to circumvent stressful situations by figuring out, recognizing who you can depend on for what. Minimize the amount of time spent in stressful situations. Next slide. I have compiled a little worksheet for each one of you to complete in order to keep you on task with minimizing your stress. Kurt will make this worksheet available for printout. If you are interested, just let him know and let us know via chat. But if possible, I want you guys to figure out how you will answer each one of these questions or situations I've outlined, and just jot down a note or two. As I said before, it is important for you to let go of unrealistic expectations. So I want each of you to finish this sentence. One thing I would like to have happen this holiday season that probably won't is. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to complete before I move on to number 2. One thing I would like to have happen this holiday season that probably won't is. Next slide. Give yourself permission to feel a sense of loss. Finish this sentence. One thing I'm feeling today as the holidays are approaching is. One thing I'm feeling today as the holidays are approaching is. Next slide. Don't expect issues with others to disappear just because it's the holiday season. Finish this sentence. One positive and supportive person I will spend time with is. One positive and supportive person I will spend time with is. Next slide. If you are struggling with loneliness, finish this sentence. One activity I will do to deal with loneliness is. One activity I will do to deal with loneliness is. Prepare for extra intensity. Finish this sentence. One stressful activity I can abandon is. One stressful activity I can abandon is. One relaxing and rejuvenating activity I can enjoy is. One relaxing and rejuvenating activity I can enjoy is. One special thing I will do for myself is. One special thing I will do for myself is. Next slide. Reevaluate your holiday traditions. Are they too stressful or time-consuming? Finish this sentence. One tradition I may need to give up is. One tradition I may need to give up is. Next slide. Be aware of overindulgence. Eat, drink, and spend in moderation. Stick to non-alcoholic beverages, especially if you have to drive, and increase physical activity. Fill in the blanks. I will spend no more than blank amount of dollars per person on gifts. Fill in the blank. I will spend no more than blank amount of dollars per person on gifts. Now you can easily break that one up and say per family member, per friend, per child, per adult, but give yourself some sort of idea ahead of time. One way I will increase exercise is to do what for how many minutes per day? One way I will increase exercise is to blank for how many minutes per day. Next slide. This worksheet is a tool to help you begin your very own plan for a happier and healthier holiday season. If you would like a copy of the worksheet so you can print it, email kurt.miller@brooklane.org or call 301-733-0331, extension 1228. Again, if you'd like a copy of the worksheet to print, email kurt.miller@brooklane.org or call 301-733-0331, extension 1228. Do you all have any questions for me?
Hi, Robin. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Can you share what you think some signs of burnout would be for someone?
Okay. If you're having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or sleeping too much, that is a sign that you are approaching burnout. If your temperament begins to change, you have less tolerance for maybe the younger folks in your family or your spouse, you may be headed towards burnout. If you find that you're eating more, drinking more, smoking more, you may be headed towards burnout. And most importantly, if your patience begins to dwindle with that person that you are caring for, if you're finding that you're becoming a little more irritable, a little irritated, a little short-tempered with that person that you're providing care for, who is unable sometimes to even recognize the change in you, you may be headed towards burnout.
All right, I certainly appreciate that. I know some of the things that you stressed certainly were things that people can do to take care of themselves. I also kind of heard loud and clear from some of your message is that when you need to, it's important to reach out for help that can be available to you and to not be shy about that in terms of taking care of yourself. Would you agree with that?
In terms of taking, exactly. It is definitely, there's a lot, there are many resources out here. You know, you can call us here at Brook Lane, you can reach out to the Commission on Aging, you can reach out to whatever hospital or medical team your loved one is affiliated with for support. When it's becoming too much for you, it is definitely in your best interest and in the best interest of your loved one that you reach out and get support.
You know, I've heard some people say before that, you know, they don't feel comfortable if they are not the caregiver approaching the caregiver to ask if they can help in some way. But I think that that would be important for people to do if you know somebody who's a caregiver, to ask how you can help in some way. Well, I believe we lost our connection with Robin. I certainly do apologize for that. We did get through the presentation, and I thank you for being here today. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties at the end, and we are also very appreciative to Robin for presenting today, but also to Potomac Case Management Services for helping to sponsor and be a part of this caregiving series of information.